Okay, so I want you to try a little visualization experiment with me.
All right, I'm game. Set the scene.
We're going to picture two scenes, and they seem like they belong in completely different universes.
Okay.
Scene number one, you are in a high-stakes, glass-walled boardroom, maybe the 50th floor of a skyscraper, New York, London, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8 p.m. The AC is humming, but everyone's sweating. The revenue charts on the screen are just bleeding red. The CEO is pacing. It is pure, unadulterated stress.
I can feel the cortisol just from that description, that classic corporate panic.
Exactly. Now, wipe that image. Scene two. A misty mountainside, maybe somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Okay.
A Buddhist monastery. Just as the sun is coming up, it's completely silent except for, the wind in the trees. And you see monks in a line doing walking meditation, just slow, deliberate steps.
Total whiplash. We've gone from absolute chaos to complete serenity, from profit margins to inner peace.
And you would assume the mindset you need for that boardroom and the mindset for that monastery are diametrically opposite.
You'd have to think so. I mean, we usually keep our quarterly KPIs and our spiritual philosophy in very, very separate boxes.
Well, here is the hook for today's deep dive. The mental framework you need to navigate both of those situations, to fix that broken project or to find that inner stillness, is exactly the same.
That is a massive claim. You're saying the road to a successful Q3 is the same as the road to enlightenment.
I am. Today we're smashing those boxes together. We're diving into this fascinating guide called 4 Truths to Success.
Right.
And it takes one of the most famous religious doctrines ever, the Four Noble Truths, or Aryazaka 4, and it just completely strips away the mysticism. It argues this isn't for monks. It's actually a secular algorithm for management, for problem solving.
You know, when I first saw this source, I was a little skeptical. I thought it might be one of those, breathe your way to $1 million kind of things.
Right.
But it's not. It treats these ancient truths less like prayers and more like a logic system. It's almost like debugging code for your brain.
That is the perfect way to put it. The source basically says, look, whether you have a disorganized life or a failing marketing team, there are 4 steps to fix the system. So our mission today is to decode these 4 Pali words: Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, and Magga.
And translate them into a practical toolkit.
Exactly. A toolkit for the modern learner.
And just to be clear for everyone listening, we are not preaching here. We're analyzing a methodology. The source just argues that these 4 steps are, the ultimate method for logical analysis and execution.
So let's unpack it. Step 1, the ancient term is dukkha. Now, I think most people, when they hear that, they immediately translate it as suffering, which honestly sounds a bit bleak for a Monday morning meeting.
It does sound incredibly heavy, yeah. Welcome to the Team Sync. Let's discuss our suffering.
It's something you'd want to run away from. But this is where the source gives us a really crucial reframe. In this management context, don't think of dukkha as agony. Think of it as problem identification.
Or just acknowledging imperfection.
Okay, so it's the audit. It's just looking at the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
Precisely. The source defines dukkha as just facing the objective reality that something's is wrong. And the key action here, the thing it really emphasizes, is the courage to just identify it.
It sounds so simple.
But it's the hardest step because it requires you to stop running.
That's the phrase that stood out to me. Stop escaping the problem. But why do we do that? Why is it so hard for a manager to just say, this isn't working?
Well, ego, fear, we rationalize. They call it the watermelon effect in business, right? Everything looks green on the outside.
But it's red on the inside.
Exactly. We say, oh, sales are down. It's just a seasonal slump. Dukkha is the discipline of saying, no, this is broken.
The source gives a great example to ground this. It introduces Team A.
Right, the classic troubled Team A.
So Team A, they have severe internal conflict. People are arguing, there's passive-aggressive emails. You know the drill.
CCing the boss.
Totally. And because of all that friction, the project is severely lagging.
Now, in this scenario, the dukkha, the suffering, isn't just that people are unhappy. It's the objective fact. The project is lagging. The system is inefficient.
So step 1 isn't fixing it. It's just looking at that delay and saying, this is real.
Exactly. You can't fix what you refuse to look at. Brutally honest acceptance. That's the first step.
I like that. It takes the emotion out. It's not, I'm a failure. It's, the project is late. It's just data.
It separates your identity from the problem.
Correct. Okay, so we faced reality. Team A's a mess. The project is late. We're looking at the red chart. So now what? Step 2, Samudaya.
Samudaya. This means the origin, the cause.
So this is where we become detectives. We know what is wrong. That's dukkha. Now we ask why.
And this is where, according to the source, most people get it wrong because they stop at the surface. They don't do a real root cause analysis.
What's the easy answer, the superficial answer for Team A?
Well, you ask the manager, they might say, oh, they just don't like each other. Personality clashes. Bob is just difficult.
Right. Bob creates drama. That feels like a cause.
It's a symptom. It's almost never the root. The source says if you dig for the real Samudaya, you'll find something structural, like, for instance, lack of clarity in job roles.
Oh, that is huge. That changes everything. So Bob isn't just being annoying. It's that Bob doesn't know where his job ends and Alice's begins, so they're constantly stepping on each other's toes.
Exactly. Or another one the source gives is communication that lacks mutual respect. That's a culture issue, not a personality flaw.
It reminds me of that 5 whys technique.
Yeah.
The project is late. Why? The team is fighting. Why? They're stepping on toes. Why? Because the job descriptions are a mess. There it is.
That is the process of Samudaya, 100%. And the stakes are high because if you get this wrong, your solution will fail.
Right. If you think the problem is just dislike, you make them do a trust fall or a mandatory pizza party.
And everyone hates the pizza party, and on Monday, they're fighting again.
Because you put a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
Precisely. The source is very clear here. You have to find the true cause to cut the loop of the problem.
Okay, so this is rigorous. It's engineering, not just vibes. So, problem ID'd, root cause found. Now, step 3. Nirodha. Nirodha. Now, in a religious context, this is usually translated as cessation, right? Like the end of suffering, nirvana.
It is the blowing out of the candle.
Which sounds very final. But the source frames this in a super active, business-like way. It calls it goal setting.
Think of it as the pivot point. Steps 1 and 2 are about analyzing the negative, the past, the present mess. Nirodha is about constructing the positive future.
It's the vision.
Yes, but a specific one. It's not just I want the problem to stop. It's defining what the world looks like when the dukkha is gone.
So for Team A, what would their Nirodha be?
The source gives a great specific goal. It's not be happy. The goal is the team works together smoothly, communicates creatively, and delivers the work on time within 3 months.
Boom. Specific, measurable, and time-bound. Within 3 months, that's key.
It is. It transforms the desire to escape pain into a positive drive toward a specific outcome.
I see. So instead of running away from the fire, you're running toward the exit sign.
That's a perfect analogy. It gives you a benchmark for success. How do you know when you're done if you don't know what fixed looks like?
It's interesting. A lot of people set negative goals. I want to stop being stressed.
And they usually fail. Because once the immediate pain subsides, your motivation is gone. But a positive goal, a vision, it pulls you forward. That's Nirodha.
So we have the reality, dukkha, the root cause, Samudaya, and the vision, Nirodha. Now comes the part where I usually get stuck, the actual work. Step 4.
Magga.
The path. This is the bridge from the plan to reality, and the source calls it the disciplined development cycle.
Okay, so this is the long haul, and the text breaks it down into some components that sound spiritual, but the application is very practical. The first one is sati, or mindfulness.
Right, samasati.
When I hear mindfulness, I think meditation apps. Closing my eyes. How does this apply in a boardroom?
The source translates it as active awareness or checking yourself. It's like an audit mechanism, but in real time. Okay, so I'm the manager of Team A. We've clarified their roles. We're in a meeting. What does Sadie look like for me in that room?
Sadie is you, actively observing, asking yourself, are we following the new plan? Did everyone actually get a chance to speak? Is Bob sliding back into doing Alice's work?
So it's not zoning out. It's being hyper-aware of whether the solution is actually being implemented.
Exactly. The best strategy in the world is useless if you execute it on autopilot. Sadie is the guardrail.
And that leads right into the next component the source highlights, which is samadhi, concentration.
Semasamadhi, focus.
The source here warns about wandering thoughts, but not daydreaming about lunch. It's about strategic distraction.
This is a huge problem. The source warns against what we'd call shiny object syndrome, or panic pivoting.
Give me the Team A example.
Okay, you've set the plan, clarify roles, you're 2 weeks in, it's still a bit rocky, change is hard.
People are probably grumpy.
Right. A wandering thought, a lack of samadhi, would be you suddenly thinking, you know what, this is too hard. Maybe we should just fire Bob. Or maybe we need a whole new project management software.
Oh, I see. You're abandoning the strategy before you've even given it a chance to work.
You're jumping ship because it's uncomfortable. Samadhi is the discipline to stick with the plan until it's actually proven right or wrong, not just because it's difficult.
That is profound. How often do we change course just out of impatience?
All the time. The source basically says that just ensures you never solve the real problem. You just keep creating new ones.
So Magga is not just working hard. It's working with awareness sati and focus samadhi.
Correct. But there's one more layer that, well, this really brings it into the modern MBA curriculum. The source explicitly compares Magga to the PDCA cycle.
The Deming cycle. Plan, do, check, act. I was not expecting to see quality control theory in here.
It's a perfect parallel, though. The source says Magga isn't a straight line. It's a loop. Remember that 3-month timeline for Team A?
Yeah, smooth work within 3 months.
So what happens at the 3-month mark? That's the check phase. You have to evaluate. Did the conflict decrease? Is the project on time?
And what if the answer is no? What if we did all the work and the project is still a disaster?
This is where the framework tests your resilience.
Yeah.
You don't give up. The source says you go back to step 2.
Back to Samudaya.
Reanalyze. You admit your first hypothesis was wrong.
Okay.
You thought the root cause was unclear roles. The data proves that wasn't it. So you look for a new cause. The text suggests something like inappropriate collaboration tools.
So maybe the software they're using is just so clunky it makes everyone angry?
Exactly. That's a new Samudaya. So you find a new root cause, set a new goal, and you start the Magga path all over again.
This is that right effort idea, samavayama, perseverance.
It is. Success isn't one shot. It's an iterative loop of analyzing, planning, doing, checking over and over again.
It's scientific. You have a hypothesis, you test it, you check the results, you iterate.
And that's why the source calls it the ultimate algorithm. It takes the ego out of it. If you fail, it doesn't mean you are a failure. It means your hypothesis was wrong. So you find a better one.
That is incredibly liberating. It takes all the shame out of failure. It's just data for the next loop.
That's the power of it. It turns failure into feedback. And in today's world, that ability is probably the most valuable skill you can have.
It really is. So let's zoom out. This whole thing, it's really an ecosystem, isn't it?
It is a closed loop for mental strength.
We start with step 1. Face the truth. Don't run from the dukkha.
Step 2, analyze scientifically. Find the real Samudaya.
Step 3, set a clear vision. Know your Nirodha.
And step 4, execute with discipline. Walk the Magga. Over and over.
It's amazing how it makes something so abstract feel so actionable. The source concludes by saying this framework uses problems as fuel.
I love that image.
Instead of roadblocks that stop you, problems become the raw material for your own development.
Exactly. It transforms obstacles into a structured path. It even suggests you can't really develop yourself or your business without problems. The dukkha is necessary to trigger the whole process.
No problem, no growth.
That's a powerful way to look at a crisis, isn't it? This is just the start of my next growth cycle.
It is.
Yeah.
And think about all the energy we waste complaining or blaming. This framework just says, save that energy. Run the algorithm.
It's efficiency for the soul.
In a way, yeah. It stops the emotional leakage. So what does this mean for you, listening? And it goes back to that first step, not running away.
That's the hurdle. Step 1 is courage. The rest is just technique.
So here's a question to everyone. Think about your professional life or your personal projects. What is the one suffering, the one recurring headache, the one stalled project that you have been actively ignoring?
What's the thing you're pretending isn't happening? The email you're afraid to open.
And what would happen if, just for today, you stopped treating it as a headache and started treating it as a data point? What if you looked it right in the eye and said, okay, this is my dukkha. Now let's find the root cause.
That shift in perspective, that alone might be the beginning of your solution.
I think that's the perfect place to leave it. Thank you for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll see you on the next deep dive. Keep learning.